Hey, this is Dr. Dean, and thank you for joining me. This video entitled Felons, Criminals, and Rogue Traders that I put out in May of last year has been well received with almost 2,000 views. I have an update. Two of the people listed in this video have gotten caught by the CFTC for fraud. If you're coming back for the first time to see this, this is the content going forward, but if you're revisiting just for the update, this is the time frame for that. So let's take a look. Number one on my list, Daniel Dowling. Ran the trade desk. I bought a package for him, and it was costly. I should have been suspicious when he couldn't spell the word signature. When I was in his room, I saw these kind of profit loss per day. Not bad, right? Then he lost $12,000 in one day. Then he lost $2,000, and then he got back on track. He lost $19,600, then $6,000. I was furious. When I plotted his profit loss, it looked like this. This is ridiculous. And I screamed at Kirby Cooper, the guy had sold me this package, and then I found out his real name was not David Gilmore. It was Daniel Dowling, and he was a felon. And I have been scammed into this package. Now, I have a lot of training in chemistry and biology and medicine, and I study the laws of Mother Nature. Mother Nature never lies. So I'm not particularly adept at detecting deceit, much less bold-faced manipulation. And he got right past me. I wrote a paper on his room as one to avoid, but he's already out of business and, of course, has taken all the money. Gregory Pepper, number two. Here's Gregory, Murph Dog as he's called. He approached me to review his room. I did, and he asked me to form a room with him, and I did. GlobalTradeTitans.com. And here's his signature on the formation of the company and the filing for the IRS. After all the paperwork was dry, Gregory told me this. He had stolen millions from his father's company and spent 2.5 years in a federal penitentiary and lost both of his seats and was banned from futures trading. How will we start a trade room? He said, we'll lie. And he asked to borrow money. I said, you're fired. He never paid his half of the corporate fees. Good riddance. But I found out he joined Trade Confident. So I wrote them and said, this guy's a felon. And they said, we'll get rid of him. And he did. And he went over to this company called Simply Profit. Now he's called Charlie P. See him right there? Here's the other guys in the company. There's Charlie P., Murph Dog, Murph Pepper. And I emailed these guys, told them the same thing. And I actually did a video on Simply Profit, and it's in my library. And he left. And then I found out he actually formed another company called Smart Entries, and somehow he's left that and gone somewhere else. Hard to get rid of these, don't you think? Number three on the list, Emmett Moore. Emmett Moore contacted me about 7-8 years ago to do a strong marketing plan all built around me. He had a business address, picture of the building, business associates, phones, previous clients, and everything. I have all the emails and screenshots. A friend of mine went to see him and found out that his business address was fake. He wasn't in that business. It was phony. And the emails and phone numbers for these clients, they didn't exist. When I called them, it bounced back. When I sent them emails, it could not be delivered. In fact, the whole thing was fake and phony. And of course, Emmett Moore didn't tell me this, that he was also a felon as well and spent about 3 years in this federal penitentiary for fraud. Hundreds of victims, millions of dollars of loss. He failed to mention that. He's never posted a single trade in futures. He's never run a trade room, and he has no formal education as far as I can tell. Yeah, recidivism. It's a tendency to do the same thing over again. Now, let me tell you something funny. He has openly criticized me for saying it's impossible to be in 4 rooms at once, but I've done it for a long time, over 5 years now. So I have a question to you, Emmett. Which requires more multitasking efforts, to be in 4 rooms at once for the day, or stealing and swindling hundreds of people out of hundreds of millions of dollars year after year after year? Think about that, will you? Also, Emmett likes to recommend rooms, like he recommends B12. When I looked at their profit loss for the year 2016, and you can do it for 17 as well, they in fact lost money. So why do they get a 5-star rating? Or how about this room? Since out of business, trading price action on futures. That's a pretty good rating. Here's their trades for 2018. They lost money. That's just ridiculous. So why would you rate them as a 4.3 rating if they don't make any money? He gets paid. Number 4, Rick Carter. He joined Puretick along with Mark and Alex. And he also formed a company called MSLO Trading. And it was owned by Rick. Here's a URL domain. Now, he has this thing on the website called the Rick Carter, the Carter Cross. Oh, that's so clever, isn't it? Let me expand it up. There it is. It says here he was at Rodman and Oppenheimer and Everett and Gun Allen. So I went to broker check, looked him up. Sure enough, he was. There he is. Here, here, and here. But he got caught. He was sanctioned. He had heightened supervision. He tried to circumvent their restrictions. And he was criticized for it as well. Up here, you can see he was caught by the SEC in 2010. Fraud, false releases, permanent injunctions, civil penalties, barred from participating. Bad boy. So I wrote these guys. I said, oh, by the way, you know, this guy, Rick Carter, he's a crook. He's a criminal. You shouldn't really work with him. You know what happened the very next day? Yeah, this guy quit the company. There were 3, then there were 2. Barry Kellner. Here we are. Barry Kellner from Fair Value Advisors wrote me in May. Talked about what he's done in trading 6E. He talks about we are an intraday company. We, our, we. There they are, Fair Value Advisors. And I looked them up, and there they are, Fair Value Advisors. Not bad. He sends me these spreadsheets. Now, you take the time to tally these up, the trades are almost worthless, downright shoddy, and I told him that. And he emails me, he says, you know, he was in Trader Shark, and he'd like to get a copy of the entire room manual for free. He doesn't want to pay for it, just rubs him the wrong way. Should be all-inclusive. Well, maybe not. Not my place to. So from then on, Kellner became really aggressive, and he said if he didn't get what he wanted, he was going to go to chat rooms and falsely accuse Trader Shark of fraud. And Brian acquiesced and gave him the manual for free. But Keller's never posted a single trade, run a room, publications here, only he can cry, complain, bitch, and moan. And so, you know, I wrote Fairview Advisors, these guys here, I said, you know, this guy Barry Kellner is an attendee at this room. Yeah, he's belligerent, arrogant, he threatens to give negative postings, he's insulting, he whines, he's like a moron and a twerp and an ignoramus. Fire him. And they wrote back and said, he does not work here. So why does he have Fairview Advisors at MSN? Just to defraud you, I guess. So he tried it with Trader Shark, he tried it with Rev, and he tried it with TFIA, Trading Futures in Action, even with myself. Now, he also posted this about me. He said, Dean Handley willfully made false statements. That's a moronic accusation. The data I posted was true and accurate, so that's no good. Number 2, he says you can read the legal document below and draw your own conclusions. Let me help you. Here's a legal document he's referring to, a lawsuit. Here's the entire contents of the lawsuit. Let me focus on the section here. These are the defendants, the CEO, the Vice President of Drug Development, and the CFO. I'm not named in the lawsuit. It's not against me. That's an imbecile conclusion. And number 3, he notes that myself and others were fired. That's completely stupid, idiotic. None of us were fired. In fact, I helped develop Pravana, Lunesta, Sopanex, and Clarinex, which I discovered and patented. I was well liked. It explains my propensity to defraud the public. What about you, Barry? Moronic accusations, imbecile conclusions, and idiotic notations. And FYI, these are not the same. Idiots don't equal imbeciles, which don't equal morons. I thought you might want to know. Oh, and P.S. Update. Now he calls himself Lone Wolf. I think more of him is a rabbit chihuahua. Lone Wolf Capital. Here's Lone Wolf Capital. I wrote them and said, does this jerkball Barry work for you? He does not. So he's at it again. All right, next up, David Cavales. Oh, what a vicious, arrogant, nasty, mean, horrible person. He posts things like this on his website, and he's threatened many of us, with death threats. How many rooms does he have? Well, he has code, and wait for it. Yeah, E-mini Trading Secret. Oh, I bet it is. Gold Academy. And round out Superior Trading. And number 5, Oil Trading. And they all have the same track record. Can you imagine that? 5 different rooms, all having the same track record. How do you spell fraud? This guy is the worst, and I have a video on him as well. Ivan, all right, he ran a room called Trend Methods. I did a video on some of the most outrageous responses I got to rooms when I asked him for a track record, and Ivan is in there. Here it is. He says, we're not allowed to provide a track record. That's not true. It's against regulations. That's not true. We've contacted the FBI about your cyber crimes and anti-Semitic threats. Why? For asking for a track record? We've got friends in the Anti-Defamation League. Oh, that's just so stupid. And we've handed all the information to a private investigator. He's doing skip traces. What baloney. Oh, and he's DEFCON 5. And we have a lawyer, Daniel Cohen. He doesn't even exist. It's completely phony. Oh, by the way, the room's out of business, but nevertheless, there he is. So I wrote him and said, hey there, fake, phony, vicious, nasty traitor. And then I got barred. So here's the infamous wall of crooks, felons, and rogue traitors, all exhibiting conduct unbehaving. So, ready for Pure Karma update? Let's get started. Goes with this guy, Rick Carter. Now remember, he had quite a few incidences in his track record, especially this last one in 2010 with his being banned. And he hangs out with Mark and MSLO, and Mark has his own rap sheet. Look at this. And remember in 2014, Puretick put out this announcement, we caught Godzilla and King Kong. This is an online Trader Central. They are the newest trade coaches at Puretick. They are thrilled to have them, and they'll join the team. And who's the team? Alex Wasilewski. Here's King Godzilla, and here's King Kong. Size counts, right? But for me, truthful, honest, ethical behavior counts more. I see these guys more as a scorpion and a viper, and I'm not far off, because let me say what the CFTC says. Here we go. In January, I got this announcement. Rick and Mark, fraud. Big, chubby fraud. Here's the announcement. These two guys, fraudulent solicitation, false statements, misappropriation, and they froze their assets. What does that mean? They probably don't have enough money to buy Girl Scout cookies. Good thing. Here's something else. The complaint alleges that Carter, who was barred as a broker in 2005, got whacked again in 2006 and whacked again by the SEC in 2010. He was hired by Alex in 2014. Bravo. There's Alex. They want restitution of defrauded customers. They want to disgorge ill-gotten gains. Give back the money, Mon, and pay penalties. Permanent bans. I like that. Maybe Alex can hire him again when they're done. MSLO, the company they ran, which has the same letters as Martha Stewart, Living Omnivia. How stupid. Out of business. And by the way, Puretick, out of business. And Market Dancer, out of business. Who said good things don't come in threes? A colleague of mine emailed Alex in January and said, oh, by the way, your Godzilla and King Kong got caught by the CFTC. This is to Alex in January 2008. He says Rick Carter was a client for a year. That's not true. Rick Carter was Godzilla. He was thrilled to have him join. He also ended his email, Alex did, by saying this. 10 other people from Puretick were charged. 10? Well, that would make it just about the most corrupt futures trading room in history. And so I have to ask, who hired so many corrupt people at Puretick? Oh, okay. I think they all work at suckerfreetrading.com. Just kidding. So this is Dr. Dean. As always, agree or disagree, let me know your thoughts, and thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.